I'm outside Newcastle Central Station about to go onto the Metro because I'm very excited to say that this morning, thanks to Nexus, the Metro people, I'm about to spend the morning looking at the driver training facility down at South Shields.
And that's because the Tyne Wear Metro are rolling out these new trains into service. This is the new Class 555 and they're being introduced to the network now. This also means that the existing older trains will soon be phased out, so I'm going to take what might be the last chance for me to ride on one of these as well. And then I go behind the scenes at the Nexus Learning Centre. That's where staff training takes place, and we'll look at features of the new train, including a cab tour, before then going out for a ride on one of the new units that's in passenger service. There's 60 stations on the Tyne Wear Metro, and the main depot is located at the Triangular Fork junction at Gosforth, but there's also been a temporary depot in use at Haldon whilst the one at Gosforth was being rebuilt. The staff training centre is located at South Shields, with the track from the network extending past the modern day station, through the old disused station and then into the training facility. But before I go there, I just want to take a ride on one of the old units. The old existing units known as Metro cars actually do have a class number, 599, and they've been in use when the Tyne Wear Metro opened in 1980, making them now 45 years old. There's just under 90 units in total, and they're coupled together when in passenger use. The fleet has had a half-life refurbishment and more recently again refurbished in 2015 to extend their life to the point where new trains could be introduced. And the popular thing with the Metro cars is that the driver's cab does not take up the full width at the front of the train, meaning that there are passenger seats at the front where you can sit and look directly out the front of the train. So those are the old existing units. Let's now go and take a look at the new ones. So to the Nexus Learning Centre, where upon entry I immediately get on board one of the new trains and get shown the features of the new train by Nick.
First off, we have new emergency intercoms which talk to driver. We're now linked directly to driver should there be any emergency incidents, and that's new for us. Our doors now are a lot more high tech, so not only will the doors illuminate to let you know which side you're getting off, once open as well, you'll have light indicators on there too. Alongside that, we have our sliding step, which is transformative for passengers and accessibility. When doors do close now, we have our automatic sensors which open the doors once again. This will keep hot air in or cold air in depending on the time of year. With that, we have our CCTV. Not only can the driver interact with those, but they're directly linked to our control centre as well, who can dial into those. Alongside that, for passengers, we have our passenger information screens, much more tube style, so these tell you where you are and where you're going. Little Easter egg, we've got our emojis in the corner here, which tell you how full each car is. So if you get on a certain door, if this is anything but green, it'll be because the car is full. However, if further down they're green, you know that further down you're able to get a seat. Integrated now for sustainability with bikes. We can get bikes onto trains much better, so people can cycle and obviously use the Metro at the same time. With that, we've also got disabled access throughout the train as well. So further down the train we have disabled bays for people to get on with their wheelchairs. And one of the biggest features for us, not only as staff but for passengers, is the one car layout. So rather than two cars, two saloons and a complete sort of gap in the middle.
And I notice there's a rather snazzy new seat design as well.
Yeah, so we have two colour moquettes on the saloons. The lighter colour here is the priority seating. This is next to doors and enables people to identify where priority seats are and stand up for vulnerable people coming on the train.
And the seat pattern design is actually based upon the Metro map.
So this is our network map itself. This has been put into the seat design, and the representation of that map is on the seating itself as well.
Wait, so the little... That there is meant to be that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then walk down, and at the end of each train is some delightful artwork.
Yeah, so 4 local artists chosen to represent different aspects of the North East. We have 4 designs on trains. This has 2, and they will be mixed up between the whole fleet. The design that we see here is obviously representative of our local beaches and the coast nearby as well. We do go past some lovely stations through Tynemouth, Cullercoats, Whitley Bay, and that's a representation of that. We've got Newcastle and Sunderland city centres represented as well in there, and some abstract works as well.
And then I chatted to Steve, a driver on the Metro, who takes us through the new cab.
When they're coming here now for the conversion training, they're all qualified drivers, so they're basically just learning the new fleet, and we're basically just going through the whole system from what we've got, and just kind of the differences from what they're driving now to what this is huge. See, there's a lot of computer systems involved. You've got different screens here, so a lot of it is worked out on this system. So you've got your direction select there, so we're going to forward, so this would be moving forward into power. You've got the pulling it back into the brake. You've got the door controls, so we've got at the minute we've got the left hand side doors released for everyone to get on there now, and then you've got obviously the door closed, and you've got the horn there. Like, it is so different compared to what we are used to. It's so, the actual size of it, it's a full width cab, whereas in the old fleet you've only got a tiny little window. You're set to the left, there's not much space in it, it's very dated equipment. It's quite simple to drive, even though there's a lot of things involved in it. The ride's completely different. It's a vast improvement.
The training centre isn't just used for training drivers, there's also a mock-up gate line and station inside for staff to be trained as well.
So really exciting that we now have a Northumberland line open to Ashington with Northern that links up with Metro. This is our Metro validators here, and this is Northern validators. We're mimicking passenger journeys through not only a gate line, but through their validators and through our validators as well, to make sure that everything matches up and works correctly.
Our look around the training centre complete. Time to go and catch a Class 555 in service.
And we've timed it on purpose here at South Shields. There's one of the new units in. Pressing the green button opens the doors. These are very similar to the 777s on Merseyside, as in the doors will stay open if you put your hand or your foot across the magic beam there, or you can just put your foot on the foot plate and that will keep the doors open for a second. Obviously when the train comes to depart, then that doesn't work and the doors will close and the train does depart, but you've got the red and the green lights. We go on board.
This is Jarrow. Change here for local bus services.
So we're heading into town, back into Newcastle on one of the nice new trains. I mean, the only thing that I would miss if I rode this every day was the fact that on the old trains, a bit like the DLR in London, you could sit out the front and sort of pretend you were driving the train. You could see out the front. You can't do that, but they're so nice. You can see all the way down. They're bright, they're spacious, they're new, they're great, they're really nice.
And we bumped into a happy customer who was enjoying his new train ride as well.
So this is about the third or fourth time, but I always do get a bit excited when I see the new one pull up. It's my partner's first time on one, and I do kind of look out for them as and when they're coming. But I'm only on them about once a week, so it's a treat to be on a train.
And just a quick word on the design of the new train.
When we come to design the new trains and the new fleet, and when you look at any sort of infrastructure, the actual rail infrastructure itself will dictate things like the size of the train, the interface between the platform and the train, all comes from the design of the track, the height of the overhead lines. Because that's a fixed structure, like a bridge, it takes a lot of effort to replace that just to fit a certain specification of train. So the trains are probably about the same length as the previous, what we call a two-car set, was what would have been previously mentioned as when you see the two trains together. Because originally they were designed to run as a single set if needed, although that's never really happened. We've always had a two-car set for capacity. So it's about the same size, although as you can see it's 5 sections rather than 2 separate cars. So there is that consideration of how does that actually run around the network now. Instead of having that interface of 2 vehicles together, will that have an impact kind of on the infrastructure itself, or we'll start to see different wear patterns on rails and that type of thing, which will only come with time. We'll see as the years go on, see if hopefully there's an improvement to things like that as well.
As we get to Tynemouth, I think a lot of people are getting off it. I've just learned from the nice press officer that's with me, HVAC air conditioning, and these holes up here in the ceiling.
Tynemouth.
Thank you, but also underfloor heating. So in the winter, or just a cold day in the summer,
Steady ambient temperature.
a steady ambient temperature of about 19 degrees centigrade all year round.
So there's going to be 46 units in total of these new Class 555 trains. The first entered service in December 2024, and over a 2-year transition period, 2 new trains per month should enter service, with it all being complete by the end of 2026. And out of the old trains, 2 are being preserved, with 1 unit going to the Stevenson Railway Museum and another to the Beamish Museum in County Durham.
This is Howden.
And so those are the new brilliant Class 5-5 trains built by Stadler.
So my thanks to everyone on the Metro today for inviting me down, having a look around and riding the new trains. The new trains, the Class 555s, 555s, whatever you want to call them. They're new, they're shiny, they're brilliant, and they're being rolled out now to the Tyne Wear Metro. Thanks for watching.